go ahead and crank it out. Excellent. So we are live on YouTube. We are about just over 20 seconds away from showtime here with AbilityMKE Now. So just hang tight for a moment as we're about to begin. Welcome to AbilityMKE Now. My name is Sue Roskoff, and we're thrilled to have time together here tonight. AbilityMKE Now is a show all about integration, bringing people with disabilities and people that don't have a disability together, enjoying life here in the Milwaukee area. We all have different abilities, and here at AbilityMKE Now, we dive into this topic of diverse abilities. The concept of disability hits a wide range of possibilities. We could be talking about physical or mental disabilities, the deaf and hard of hearing community, blindness, chronic pain, mental health diagnosis, goals of substance use reduction, and the list goes on. We all have our own experience with disability, whether it's our own or with people we know. Here at AbilityMKE Now, we break down the barriers and celebrate the ability in all of us. I am very excited for the conversation that is coming up here with our crew here tonight. First things first, though, I'm going to go ahead and bring Emily in to give some awesome introductions. So Emily, hop on in and join us.
Okay, well, here's one of our guests, Yami, but I think we are going to start with our other guest tonight first, named Janet, who is in Wisconsin here with the rest of us. Lives in our area, actually, very close to us. So not very far, but we met Janet through the Happy Neighborhood Project, and so it's been great getting to her. But Janet, I want to have you say a little bit about who you are, what you do.
Thanks a lot, Emily. Thanks, Sue. Thanks for inviting me. We are close, Emily. I live in the Madison area, so the one thing you'll quickly learn about me is I am a diehard Badger fan. My schedule, right? Go Badgers. My schedule, my husband's schedule, all revolves around the Badger games. So whether it's football or basketball, we're nuts about it. We really, really enjoy it. And I love athletics, and I'm not athletic, I'll say that, but I think it teaches us a lot of life lessons that you can do anything you decide to do, especially when somebody else believes in you. And I think it's really, really important. But I was born and raised in Madison, and I've lived in Dane County my entire life. So I love it here.
That's
once
fantastic.
A Badger, always a Badger.
I will agree with that. I actually graduated from UW-Madison back in the day and absolutely love it. There's nothing quite like being a Badger.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, Sue, I am very happy to say I'm retired, and I'm really good at it. I really, really like it, but I had to keep busy. But in my previous career, I was an executive director at a nonprofit, and I've worked in the direct selling and network marketing industry pretty much my entire career. And what I love about the industry is I get to work alongside people no matter what their level of education is, their disability, whatever it is. It's an industry that's great for everybody. So I spend a lot of time mentoring. I don't want to say coaching, but more mentoring and showing people, walking alongside them and help them to grow their business. And I do have my own network marketing business as well. I'm in the health and wellness side of it, but I just like to be busy. I want to have that flexibility because I know after this many years, I've earned it, and I want to be able to be there to support family members that need additional support because they do have some health issues, and I want to be able to be there for them.
That's fantastic that you found something that works with you in so many different ways.
Yeah, because it's, you know, for those of you that have a family member, or if it's yourself that needs additional support, you know, sometimes it's tough to say to the boss, I need to go to this doctor's appointment or this or that. So I love that flexibility, and I really encompass everything. I have my husband and I have one child, and she's a dog. And Patsy is a therapy dog. So her and I do visits about once a week. We go into different nursing homes and different places like that she shares her love and just gets petted. And she's happy as can be and spreads a lot of joy. So I want to have that flexibility to be able to do it.
I love that. And did you say, how long have you been doing that?
Let's see. Patsy is 3.5. So not quite 3 years. We got her the day that COVID, you know, when they shut down Wisconsin, that was the first day we got her. So she's had a lot of training. We've done about 80 hours of classroom training. So we've kind of been doing it, you know, as soon as things opened up, we started going and making our visits. So
that's so much fun. I love that.
Oh, it is. It is.
I'm glad. I'm sure Patsy has a lot of fun meeting all the.
She does, Emily. You can't even believe it. She's, you know, like my husband says, every day is Sunday to Patsy. She's just always in a good mood, but she just gets petted, and it does not matter who that person is. She, you know, she makes them feel important and special. I love it. I love it.
As long as she's getting petted, she's happy.
Getting petted and getting treats. It's a perfect combination in her world. Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm curious, what inspired you to take on basically this activity with your dog? Was that your purpose in getting a dog in the first place, or did this kind of happen?
No. My husband and I, ever since we've been married, which is over 40 years now, we've always had a dog. And I've had some sort of a spaniel, but my last 3 spaniels are Cavaliers. And as I was getting closer to retirement, and I know that dog is bred to sit on people's laps, I said, I really want to do this, but I want to make sure she has to go through all this training and that. And I just made a decision. Well, I think the universe works in strange ways, because we got Patsy. We went through all the training and all that. And then I had a family member that had a heart attack and ended up, long and short of it, with a traumatic brain injury. It was my nephew. And he was only 52 years old. He was without oxygen for an hour. So you can imagine, you know, how it left him. And because he was so young, and he did have the traumatic brain injury, and he had short-term memory loss and all of that, he had to go into a facility, and the only facility that could take him was an Alzheimer's place. And you know, everybody's old. He's not old, but Patsy and I, it made it easier for me to go see him. It's hard to see somebody that you love with all your heart go through that. But Patsy went with me 4 days a week. And she knew right where Mike's room was. She went and visited with all of the residents. She sat on the couch with them and petted them. And I kid, and I say this with love. Sometimes people didn't know their name, but they remembered Patsy. She brought a lot of joy to everybody. So that wasn't planned, but it worked out very well.
I love that. Sometimes things happen for a reason.
Yeah, they do. They do. And I'm a believer you have to make the best of a bad situation. And she brought a lot of joy to people. She brought a lot of joy. She brings a lot of joy to me, makes me smile. She always makes me smile. So.
And is that something you're still doing, is going and doing visits like that, or not so much anymore?
Not scheduled. My nephew passed away May 1st. I can't go back there. No, it was tough. It was, you know, it was really, really hard. He had been for 2.5 years And I couldn't go back there. But I have places around my neighborhood, and we go, residents are sitting outside, and Patsy, we don't have any formal visits scheduled. I'm not ready to do that yet. She's ready, but I'm not ready. So
Oh, I can appreciate that, because that type of thing, when you are, whether you're a caregiver or a family member, there's a lot that goes with all this, right? We
Yeah.
all need support along the way, and time, and it's hard.
Yeah, it's hard on the care. I think it's really, people forget about the caregiver, but they love that person so much that somebody's got to take care of the caregiver. So Patsy takes care of me.
That's fantastic. Oh,
She takes
yeah.
care of me. So
I
yeah.
love that. Well, now I know before the show started, you were telling us a little bit of a story that I wonder if you would be able to share that with us.
Sure. You know, Sue, when you get to a certain age, you kind of just say it. I'm so far past tiptoeing. And so, have you ever heard, I'm sure you have, if you see something, say something, when we had all of this stuff going on in the world. Well, I think this applies. If you see or you hear something when somebody is discriminating, when they're bullying, when they're bashing with anybody, but specifically with anybody that might have any sort of a disability, you got to say something. And I like to give people the benefit of the doubt that they're unaware and they don't realize it. Sometimes they think they're being funny. But I think what people forget is it could happen to you, it could happen to a family member. So this past weekend, I was at a pool party, and one of the young men that was there was, the only way I can say it, he was making fun of my husband. My husband has some mobility issues. He's got really bad arthritis. He's 70 years old, and he was really struggling. And we finally made a decision, Jerry, just get a walker. Who cares? Nobody cares. Get rid of your ego. So he's using the walker. And ever since then, I can't keep him home. And this young man, this young man was making fun of him. And finally, I apologize. That's my home phone. We still have a home phone, but what happened was I finally had to say something. I just had to say something, and it felt, I'm so glad I did, because I don't think he was aware that he shouldn't have said that. And I just called him out on it, and I had to say it with love. Sometimes there were things I wanted to say, but I didn't. I just said, you might not realize what you just did and what you said, but that is very, very hurtful. It's hard enough for him to have to do this, and he's brave enough to come out and do that, to come out with a walker. But for you to say that, I said, how do you think that made him feel? And he didn't say a word. And I said, and by the way, your grandmother is sitting over there and she uses a walker. So I just really believe if you see something or hear something, you got to say something. Give the person the benefit of the doubt that, they don't know any better. They're stupid. Sometimes I just want to go, you're just stupid. That's what I wanted to say. I didn't say that, but I said, you're just not aware of how hurtful that is. So, but I think sometimes you just got to remember, how grateful you are that you don't have those issues, or if somebody does in your family, be grateful that you're there to support them. So that was my message. I kind of had a moment, and I'm glad I did. It felt good to me. It was good for me to say something, and I think I made an impression on that young man.
And that's important. We have a friend that actually has a phrase that I had never heard before, or a word that he uses, a TAB, temporarily able-bodied. We're all, because like right now, I can walk around just fine. Starting to get the aches and pains going, but temporarily able-bodied. So this particular friend who uses that phrase is very into wheelchair sports. And
Okay.
that's where, when they've got all the guys in the chairs, sometimes I've heard, we need a couple tabs over here, or, it's a phrase, it's a thing that it was new to me. But, it's a different perspective when you actually think about that. It's like, oh yeah, okay. If I'm lucky enough to be around long enough to actually end up, a lot of people do, as you get older, you'll get different things that cause a disability of some sort, whether it's mobility related or, whatever it is. But, we're temporarily able-bodied. It's not that we're guaranteed to be in perfect condition
Right.
and perfect health for all the years on this planet,
That's
So
great.
actually having that perspective, and the young man that you spoke to, you're right. He may have never actually thought about it. He just, if he was just trying to have some fun, whatever, having fun at somebody else's expense is only maybe fun for yourself until you think about it. And somebody's kind
That's
enough
right.
to actually speak up and say, hey, you might want to not go down that road, because he just hasn't had that life experience yet. So you were able to share that with him, and to help him with that life experience that, you never know where that may take him in his life, to actually have that chance to think about it. I mean, that's part of why this show even exists, is it gives people a reason and that moment to stop and think. Because until you have that time where, oh, you know what, now I'm in a wheelchair and there's no curb cutouts. I can't go to the place I want to go because I literally can't get there. Wheels don't go downstairs very well, or whatever
Right.
that may be. So I really appreciate that story, and it does hit home in many different ways, actually, when we're sharing that. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, and actually, Emily, I was going to bring you back here and see, I know we have Yami with us as well. And I just wanted to see if Yami, would you like to say anything here tonight as well? Because I know you are a woman of many words of wisdom. So I'm just curious, what's on top of your mind?
Oh, well, and I am famous for coming up with stories. And when I was true stories, I was involved in Shalom Bible Institute. It's no longer exists, but it was in Madison, and it was operated, through a church called Shalom. Well, it's no longer, but we had to, while I was in the college part, or I had to work in different categories, like the prison I worked in, but one of my first was the seniors going to the nursing homes. And how it worked is you would get calls from people and let you know, please visit this person. The same happened when I was in jail ministry. It was through referral, like. And it was one night that the weather was horrible. It was pouring down rain, cold rain, and muddy along the sides of the roads. And I get a call, and there was a lady. She was in terminal in her last days, and I was asked to go see her. So I'm on my way, and I get a flat tire.
Oh no.
So I get out in the rain and look at it and shake my head and walked the rest of the way to the place. So went in there soaking wet. And I could not be more thankful that I did that, because we spent a good hour singing hymns together. Singing is like a pet too. It brings healing, it brings comfort, it uplifts your heart. And we sing all the old ones. I'm not a great singer, so neither was she. So we just enjoyed our time. And that was the night she died. And I was so thankful I got my mud bath walking through. So I guess
That's amazing. And yeah, your heart told you you need to keep moving on, get there and be there with her and for her. Oh, I love that.
Well,
I'm
it's
so glad you were
worth the
able to.
it's worth the struggle is what I'm trying to point out. Whenever something really valuable is going to happen, you'll go through a struggle and you have to get past it. You have to feel, the pain to have the gain, and it's worth it. So everyone needs to give of themselves and their time and be discomfortable for a little bit to make somebody else have a little joy.
Those, like when I brought you in, I was saying that you are a woman of with words of wisdom, and that truly is right there, because yeah, that sometimes it's hard to see the good on the other side of the struggle, but that's where you do need to keep focus on the good, because it's there. Even though it's a challenge to actually see, sometimes it is there, and for everyone to remember that that does take practice, and it takes being reminded. But that is so important. Oh, thank you for sharing that. Now, Janet, I was going to ask, I know you said that you are a mentor, and that you are, I've had the pleasure of getting to know you a little bit before this too. So I am curious, with being a mentor of others, what is your favorite part of that? What gives you the joy and the reason to do that? Because I know you're good at it, and you do love doing it. What is it about it? Or do you have any particular stories you'd like to share?
I don't know if I have any particular stories, but I think it's a lot of what Yami says. If it was easy, everybody would do it. I always say that. And the other thing I remember is that if I focus on the other person, I'm a believer that it'll come back to you. And like I said, doing that little bit with Patsy, I get as much joy as the people we're giving to. So I think those are very, very important things. But I think the thing that charges me up about being a mentor, and I am a coach, I'm a certified coach. I don't talk about coaching because there's a difference. But as a mentor, what I like to see, nothing makes me happier than seeing other people succeed. It's almost like, oh, my kids did really, really good, and they've achieved their goals and dreams. So when you see somebody that you worked alongside grow and mature and achieve goals that they never thought they could, there's nothing like it. Nothing like it.
I can so appreciate that. I love that, because I work at a university now, and I know just today we welcomed in our new freshmen within our major, and it was fun to get to see they are at that moment of, oh my gosh, classes start tomorrow, and there are so many things getting thrown at them, so much that they need to be a little bit nimble right now. To actually soak in all these new pieces. Not only have they moved away from home, they have a new strange place, new strange people they haven't met yet, all these new things, everything's new right now. And
freedom. I can do what I want. Nobody's making me get up every morning. I have to learn how to do my own laundry. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot in anything we do in life. There's a lot. So if you have somebody that's already gone through it, a mentor helps to cut the learning curve. I think that's the best part of it. And I always say, I'm not going to show you what to do. I'm going to tell you what not to do, because gosh knows I've made all those mistakes. So you don't need to do. I can save you a lot of time. And that's what I think is important. But not everybody wants a mentor. And until somebody decides, humility is a good thing. Sometimes you need to say, I need some help here.
And that's hard. Actually, even that piece is a hard one, because I know I'm just thinking because it happened today. We have one of the student leaders came in that does tutoring for because I'm in the biology group. So she's really good with biology. She's been doing this this last past year of being a tutor for students, and they do sessions where you can come in and bounce ideas and learn and grow. But you'd be surprised how much encouragement it takes for people to actually be like, yes, I need this. This will help me, and I'm going to show up and do these things. And to me, that there's so many different ways where that's equivalent in other aspects of life, where needing somebody to be there, to be your cheerleader, to be that extra help of, you never know what a difference you can make for another person until you actually start watching and looking for those opportunities where you can help, like what you did with that young man that you talked about earlier, when you can actually see those moments of, I have it in my gut that I have to say something right now. I need to be able to do that and help another person, whether they're receptive or not. Maybe they are today. Maybe that'll sink in 10 years down the road where they'll be realizing that, oh my gosh, that's what that was all about. It's not, it doesn't always sink in day of, I think. Sometimes it takes that maturity and that more experience.
When they're ready. When they're ready.
ready.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, what's meant to be will be, or whatever the phrase is.
That's right. And you
Or
don't
the
always
way
know
it'll
when.
happen when it's meant to happen. Or
That's right.
That's what
You're
I was trying to say.
absolutely right, Emily. 100%. 100%.
And I do think too about like where I am with those students, there's a number of them that come in with disabilities as well. And to have that in mind and to realize I don't know what they've been through. They don't know where I've all been. We don't know what the other person, whoever you're encountering today or tomorrow or the next day, we have no idea what their background is and where they've come from and what they're about to go through. We don't know. And the more we can be around to support and help each other, really, I truly believe from the bottom of my heart that makes all the difference, and that to have kindness and to have that I guess to borrow another friend's phrase, that outward focus of what can I do today to make a difference for somebody else? It does come back around, and at our own, at least for me personally, I find my life is better and more fulfilled when that is where I'm looking.
100%. 100%. Agree.
So I know we just have a few minutes left here. I'm curious, whatever thought might be on the top of your mind at this point. I'll ask Yami and Janet both. I'll ask you what's on your mind at this point. I know we've talked about lots of different things here tonight, and if you had any message that you'd like to share, just in maybe 30 to 60 seconds here, whether it's disability related or even like I'm thinking with these students that are going back to school, that anything that you might want to give as advice of whatever's top of your mind. So Janet, if I could start with you.
Wow. I guess what I would say, one of the things I always talk about is, number one, give yourself a break. And focus on one thing. What's the one thing you want to get better at? You can't get better at everything all at once. So pick one. Pick one thing and just stay focused on that, conquer that, then move on to the next thing.
I love that. That's perfect. Thank you so much, Janet. And Yami, I'm going to give you a moment here as well. Maybe in 30 seconds, what's on the top of your mind?
If we surrender our life over to the one that created us, he will direct our path, because he created us with a plan, and we can agree with him in that plan, and life can go much smoother than if we fight the plan he has.
I love that. I am so grateful that you were both able to join us here tonight. And I would love to have you guys back anytime in the future if you would love to come back and have a chance to continue the conversation, because this has been a true pleasure. Janet, Yami, thank you so much. Emily, as always, and Kurt in the background as well. So again, this is AbilityMKE Now. My name is Sue Roskoff, and I always am grateful. Thank you so much.